From the brink of defeat to the glory of victory. What a comeback. When the odds were stacked against them, they rose higher than ever. AI wrote that.
It was dramatic and I loved it. But that is the story. Oh my goodness. I mean, I think a lot of people thought they were going to win, but I think they had a lot of people thinking this was going to be tough, but they did it. They're in the semis. I kind of can't believe it.
That was some dramatic clapping.
But so pumped. And that is what we're going to talk about today. They did it. Timestamps down below. Hopefully this is going to be a pretty short video because today Arsenal beat Real Madrid 3-0, and then on aggregate it was 3-2. So they won. They're the winners. You know, they didn't score any extra goals. They should have. We're going to get to that. Alessia Russo possibly was robbed of 2 goals. Robbed of a hat trick. How can you do that to Lessy?
I love a good hat trick.
Yeah. And also, we're not really going to talk much about it, but Lyon moves into the semis as well and defeats Bayern Munich. And, you know, they definitely deserved it. Kind of a tough loss for Bayern. But that's going to be the next matchup. It's going to actually be Lyon versus Arsenal. But first and foremost, this match, this game, they had to win by 3. So if they won by 3, they won. If they won by 2, I believe that actually would have gone to 30 minutes overtime and then PKs. I don't think it would have gone directly to PKs. It doesn't matter though. They did not need it. And even when the lineup came out, you know, a lot of people were pretty pumped. They saw Foord and Chloé Kelly starting. So people were excited, especially to see Foord start. Going in there, they knew what they had to do. Obviously, they were home at Emirates. The crowd was fired up at the Emirates.
They went wild.
Yes. And also, we're going to read a comment about it, but, you know, a good looking pitch. And they're, you know, they probably got to sleep in their own beds last night. So all the makings to be able to come and score the goals that they needed, because you think about, okay, they're down 2 goals. Is that a lot? Yeah, but not really when you think about the way, it's not like they had to come down from 6 goals or anything. You know what I mean? First half, it kind of was the tale of 2 halves. The first half, a lot of unfinished chances in the first half. Real Madrid was doing a lot of, you know, defensive-minded soccer, obviously, because they really didn't have to score, but they wanted to keep Arsenal from scoring. But there was a few chances that maybe should have been successful. At that point, the first half, they were not finishing their chances. But actually, right before half, Real Madrid came very close to scoring in the 40th minute. DVD, amazing save. Actually, she did a double save. Second one would have been offsides, but was an amazing save. Glad to see her back because obviously she had the concussion and everything, but she was a big part of this win. What people did say is, although they had missed opportunities, the star of the show specifically was Chloé Kelly. You know, she comes from Man City. We're going to read a comment, or I saw a comment says, I don't care if it costs $1 billion, sign her for next year because she's on loan right now. Then, you know, go into the halftime. The comments were like, let's congratulate Real Madrid already. Congrats, Real Madrid. We're not going to make it. We're not going to do it. I was on Instagram, like, we're not finishing our chances. Then I was telling Sara, halftime, I wanted to hear that pep talk from Renee. You know, you go in the halftime, you say, hey, okay, we have 45 minutes. You either want to win or you don't want to win. There is this famous March Madness in the States was just happening, and our team Iowa was playing, and their bus driver, Z, she had a very inspirational pep talk. Maybe I'll put a little clip of it. But she basically said, you have to play ball. If you don't win, you're never going to play ball again. I forget how she said it, but
that's what I need for you today. I need you to go out there thinking like, if we don't win, we can never play ball again, okay? Real talk. I've been doing this for a while. You got to psych your mind and say, if we don't win, we can never play ball again. It's a done deal, right? If you go out there with that mindset, it don't matter who you playing. It's about to be some problems. You hear me? It's about to be some pressure. You hear me?
And I wonder if Renee went in there saying, hey, you got to play. Like, if you don't win, you're never going to play again. And that's kind of what happened in a way, because within the first minute, Alessia Russo scored an amazing goal. Within the first minute, 46th minute, Alessia scored. And not just that. This pep talk at halftime Renee had must have been massive, because 3 minutes later, MARIONA Caldente scored. I mean, beautiful goals.
And then in the 59th minute, who scores again? None other than Alessia Russo, of course. And at that point, they were on top. I'm stealing Sarah's lines.
Yeah, so at that point, the second Alessia Russo goal, that was it. That's all they had to get to. And then keep it that way. But I couldn't believe the turnaround. Most people are saying that turnaround was incredible. Then kind of controversial. 2 Alessia goals were actually called offsides. And I've seen some people say,
Ooh, that was nice.
she should have gotten points for the style on that goal, even if it was offsides.
Style points, yeah.
But that was ruled. They had VAR in this match. That was ruled to be offsides. And then she was going for the hat trick one more time. You know what they did?
Took it away from her. Again.
Pretty much another Alessia Russo offsides goal. And that's, I mean, they really did not want to give this offsides. They really did not want to give Alessia the hat trick. And it was close. I mean, it was close for the second goal. Then a scary moment for Arsenal in the 90th plus 2 minutes. Linda CICEDO came very close to scoring. She hit a hard struck ball. DVD was right there, and she saved it. That was close, because at that point, if Linda would have scored, it would have probably gone to overtime, I believe. But that's it. They won. They are the winners. They're moving on to the semifinals. You know, I think it's hard to be the road team. Also, I think Real Madrid kind of psyched themselves out. They had such a massive win against Barcelona. I think they thought, let's just defend, let's not have them score. And then Arsenal kind of figured out Real Madrid after the first half and just said, okay, we're ready to score now. We figured them out. We figured what they're going. I did think they kind of psyched themselves out. But Arsenal just was ready. I'll read some comments. So this is coming from the first half. I just thought these, you know, in comparison to what ended up happening, I actually kind of thought these comments were funny. This comment was kind of funny given when it ended up happening, but I'll have to read it.
So many opportunities and none being put away. We could have been at least 3-2 up by now. I knew they won't play just the way they played Liverpool. Congratulations to Real Madrid.
Yeah, so at halftime, people were very skeptical, but it's almost like you get your expectations down. Oh, we're not going to win. Then it's less of a blow if you don't win. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to take a loss if you kind of just lower, if you don't think you're going to win.
Now I get it. Now I understand what Renee Slegers played for them or showed them in the locker room. She showed them all these tweets, all these messages. She goes, yeah, these people are saying you're not going to win. So they're saying Real Madrid's going to win. So yeah. And I mean, there's nothing like hater comments to really get you going.
Well, then I see this graphic too. It's at halftime. Arsenal looking kind of worried. And then just 14 minutes later, they were already up 3-0. These might not be in order, but Russo got robbed up from her hat trick. The second offsides goal should have stood. It was very close. And, you know, that's the kind of love-hate situation with the VAR. Some people like it. And is the technology 100% accurate? I don't know. And then again, Chloé Kelly also with 2 gorgeous assists, gorgeous balls in. The glory goes to all the goal scorer, which is Alessia. But people are saying Chloé Kelly was the player of the match. So happy for her. And then someone goes, some dodgy offsides calls. And then someone goes,
look what great things can happen when they play on a proper pitch. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, good point. And obviously, Real Madrid, if there was storms there isn't too much they could have done, but maybe should never be on a pitch where it's that dangerous. Can't believe VAR denied Russo's second disallowed goal when she was clearly on. Yeah, it was close, and, who knows if it was even real. Yeah, people are saying Kelly, player of the match. She found her home again. And yeah, and the person above her says, I don't care if she costs £1 billion, make Kelly permanent.
Someone else says, amazing. So much energy in the stadium and in the team. Love football. Love Arsenal.
Yeah, I like that. And someone goes, unbelievable comeback. And then Kelly was phenomenal. Definitely player of the match. Then, so happy for them. So pumped for Renee. You know, obviously obviously the players I'm so happy for them, but so happy for Renee, you know. I'm so pumped for them. Moving on to the semis.
Yeah, Renee looked so excited at the end.
Yeah.
She's so happy.
She did. And so happy to see they're going to move on to the semifinals. Now, they're going to be facing Lyon. That is going to be a tough battle. However, I don't know, when you kind of have a spark, and I feel like Arsenal has that spark, it can be done. Lyon, we're not really going to talk about the Lyon game. We did watch a good fair amount of it, but Lyon today beat Bayern Munich. They beat them 4-1 today on aggregate 6-1. So it really wasn't close, even though first half, Bayern Munich scored in the 33rd minute. So I believe that made them just one down on aggregate. They could have come back, but they just got outplayed, and they just got outplayed. You know, people are saying, which is funny because Joe Montemurro is the coach over at Lyon, and he's going to be facing his old team in the semis. But Bayern Munich, I was rooting for Bayern Munich. I just like them. Even though I told Sarah we should have been rooting for Lyon. Sarah was neutral, but we should have been rooting for Lyon because Lindsay's playing over there. But they did not have the fight in them. Even looking at these numbers, I don't know what happened to Bayern Munich. I don't know. Lyon did the same thing that Arsenal did. They scored in the 46th minute. So right out of half, they came out, scored in the 46th minute, then 3 more goals after that. So maybe they just had to get warmed up that first half. But that's going to be Arsenal's competitor in the semis. And then just some comments from the Bayern Munich. I'm proud of our team. They fought and left everything in its place. Now focus on the league and the cup. And some people are kind of blaming, were blaming too bad the coach Straus has to improve. And also I know they have injuries over at Bayern Munich too. So those were the 2 big games today, Lyon and Arsenal. Moving on now, tomorrow, hopefully this video goes up before the Man City Chelsea game, but tomorrow's the big game. I still think Chelsea has a good chance of making up that deficit against Man City. Man City's had some injuries, and Chelsea's Chelsea, so it's gonna be tough. But I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm rooting for. Actually, I saw a comment from a Chelsea fan. They go, I'm a Chelsea fan, but good job, Arsenal. And I go, hey, that's almost one of the best comments you can get. You know, even a Chelsea fan was happy for Arsenal. But what does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. What did you think? Are you pumped? Did you think they could come back? Because I think a lot of people thought since they were at the Emirates, they could do it. But so happy for them. They look so excited. So we will see what happens. Questions, comments down below. You didn't even hear this on our last video. We didn't even do an outro because I lost the footage and I left it.
Well, we'll say a double goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.